Marcus Sterling stood in his corner office on the 42nd floor, overlooking the Manhattan skyline that had been his kingdom for the past decade. At 35, he had built Sterling Technologies from a small startup into a multi-billion-dollar empire. But today he faced a problem that money alone couldn't solve. The Yamamoto Corporation, a traditional Japanese conglomerate, was considering a partnership that would expand Marcus's company into Asian markets worth hundreds of millions. However, their elderly CEO, Hiroshi Yamamoto, had made it clear that he only conducted business with family men who understood the value of commitment and stability. Marcus had built his fortune by focusing exclusively on business, avoiding romantic entanglements that might distract from his goals. His reputation as a confirmed bachelor was well known in business circles, and now it threatened to cost him the deal of a lifetime. His assistant had suggested hiring an actress to pose as his wife for the crucial dinner meeting, but every agency demanded thousands of dollars and extensive contracts that could lead to complications. Marcus needed someone who would disappear after one evening, someone who wouldn't see this as an opportunity for extortion or publicity. Walking through the financial district during his lunch break, Marcus noticed a young woman sitting on a bench outside a small cafe, carefully counting crumpled bills from her worn purse. She appeared to be in her late 20s, with kind eyes and an air of quiet dignity, despite her obviously modest circumstances. Sarah Chen was calculating whether she had enough money for both lunch and her daughter's school supplies when a well-dressed stranger approached her bench. She looked up to see a man in an expensive suit who seemed oddly nervous for someone who clearly belonged to the world of corporate power. Marcus found himself studying this woman who seemed so different from the polished socialites in his usual circle. There was something genuine about her that made him believe she could be trusted with his unusual request. Chapter 2. An Unlikely Agreement. Marcus sat down beside Sarah, unsure how to begin such an unconventional conversation. He explained that he needed someone to pose as his wife for one evening, emphasizing that it would be purely professional and completely safe. The request was so unexpected that Sarah initially thought he might be joking. When Marcus offered $50 for a few hours of her time, Sarah's immediate instinct was to refuse. The proposal seemed too strange, too risky, and potentially dangerous. But as she looked at her nearly empty wallet and thought about her 8-year-old daughter Emma waiting at home, she found herself reconsidering. Sarah was a single mother, working 2 part-time jobs to make ends meet. Her ex-husband had abandoned them when Emma was 3, leaving Sarah to struggle with rent, groceries, and the constant worry of providing for her daughter. $50 represented groceries for a week, or the school supplies Emma desperately needed. Marcus sensed her hesitation and quickly provided references, including his company's website and business cards from recent meetings. He explained that the dinner would be at an upscale restaurant with his business associates, and that her only role would be to sit beside him and occasionally nod or smile. After 20 minutes of careful questioning, Sarah agreed to the arrangement. Marcus gave her his business card and instructions to meet him at the restaurant the following evening. He also provided money for appropriate attire, though Sarah insisted she could manage with what she had. As they parted ways, both felt they had entered into something more complex than a simple business transaction. Marcus was struck by Sarah's intelligence and dignity, while Sarah wondered what circumstances had led such a successful man to need a fake wife. That evening, Sarah explained to her babysitter that she had a work event, carefully avoiding details about the unusual nature of her assignment. She spent hours preparing, determined to fulfill her part of the agreement professionally, despite her nervousness about entering a world so different from her own. Chapter 3. The performance begins. The restaurant Marcus had chosen was the kind of establishment where Sarah had never imagined herself dining. Crystal chandeliers cast elegant light over tables set with fine china and silver, while servers moved with practiced discretion among guests who clearly belonged to the city's elite. Sarah arrived wearing her best dress, a simple black outfit she had bought years ago for job interviews. Though modest compared to the designer gowns worn by other women in the restaurant, her natural grace and quiet confidence made her appear perfectly appropriate for the setting. Marcus introduced Sarah to the Yamamoto delegation as his wife of 2 years, explaining that she preferred to maintain a low profile due to her work and education. This detail was inspired by Sarah's mention that she worked part-time at a local elementary school, and it immediately endeared her to Mr. Yamamoto, who valued learning and intellectual pursuits. Throughout the dinner, Sarah proved to be a natural at the role she was playing. She listened attentively to the conversation, asked thoughtful questions about Japanese culture and business practices, and displayed a genuine interest in the guests that went beyond mere politeness. Mr. Yamamoto was particularly impressed by Sarah's knowledge of children's literature, which came from her work with students and her dedication to reading with Emma every night. When he mentioned his own grandchildren, Sarah shared insights about child development that revealed both her intelligence and her caring nature. Marcus found himself genuinely enjoying Sarah's company, rather than simply appreciating her performance. She brought a warmth and authenticity to the evening that made even the formal business dinner feel more personal and meaningful. The evening was proceeding better than Marcus had dared hope when an unexpected complication arose. Mr. Yamamoto announced that he was so impressed with Marcus and his wife that he wanted to extend his stay in New York to spend more time with them as a family. Chapter 4. Extending the charade. Mr. Yamamoto's announcement that he wanted to spend additional time with Marcus and Sarah as a couple created an immediate dilemma. The original plan had been for one evening, but now Marcus faced the prospect of either confessing his deception or finding a way to extend the arrangement. During a brief moment when the Japanese delegation was distracted by the arrival of dessert, Marcus quietly explained the situation to Sarah. He could see the concern in her eyes as she realized that what was supposed to be a simple evening was becoming more complicated. Sarah's first instinct was to politely excuse herself and end the charade before it went too far. However, she could also see the genuine anxiety in Marcus's eyes and understood that this business deal was crucial to him. Against her better judgment, she agreed to continue the pretense for a few more days. Marcus was both relieved and troubled by Sarah's willingness to help him. He increased her compensation significantly, but he also realized that he was asking her to take on a much greater risk and responsibility than originally planned. The next few days required Sarah to accompany Marcus to various business lunches and social events where they were expected to behave as a married couple. Sarah had to quickly learn details about Marcus's life and business, while maintaining the fiction that they had been together for 2 years. Marcus found himself genuinely impressed by Sarah's ability to adapt to unfamiliar social situations. She had an intuitive understanding of people that helped her navigate conversations with business associates and their spouses, often providing insights that Marcus himself had missed. During quiet moments between public appearances, Marcus and Sarah began to have real conversations about their lives, backgrounds, and aspirations. Marcus learned about Sarah's struggles as a single mother and her dreams of providing better opportunities for her daughter. Chapter 5. Unexpected Connections. As the fake marriage continued, Marcus began to see sides of Sarah that went far beyond her role as his temporary wife. Her genuine kindness toward service staff, her thoughtful questions about his business, and her obvious intelligence made him realize that he had initially underestimated her completely. Sarah, meanwhile, discovered that beneath Marcus's polished exterior was a man who had sacrificed personal relationships for professional success. She began to understand that his wealth hadn't brought him the happiness or fulfillment that she had assumed came automatically with financial security. One evening, when they were required to attend a charity gala together, Sarah witnessed Marcus's generous donations to various causes. However, she also noticed that his giving seemed mechanical, lacking the personal connection that made charity meaningful rather than merely transactional. During the gala, Sarah met several other wealthy wives who seemed to view their marriages as business arrangements rather than partnerships based on love and mutual respect. She began to understand why Marcus might have believed that hiring a fake wife was a reasonable solution to his problem. The turning point came when Emma became sick with a fever, while Sarah was supposed to attend another business dinner with Marcus. Sarah immediately prioritized her daughter's needs, calling Marcus to explain that she couldn't fulfill her obligations that evening. Marcus's response surprised both of them. Instead of being angry about the inconvenience, he insisted on driving Sarah home and even offered to help with Emma's care. This gesture revealed a compassionate side of his personality that his business associates rarely saw. When Marcus met Emma, he was charmed by the intelligent, curious 8-year-old who clearly adored her mother. Seeing Sarah in her role as a devoted parent gave him a new perspective on what truly mattered in life and what he had been missing in his pursuit of professional success. Chapter 6. Growing Feelings. Marcus found himself thinking about Sarah and Emma even when business didn't require their presence. He began to understand that the warmth and authenticity Sarah brought to their fake relationship was something he had been missing in his real life for years. Sarah was struggling with her own unexpected feelings. She had entered the arrangement purely for financial reasons, but Marcus's kindness toward Emma and his genuine interest in their lives had begun to affect her more than she had anticipated. The complexity of their situation became apparent when Mr. Yamamoto invited them to a private dinner at his hotel suite, where he wanted to discuss not just business, but also his observations about their marriage. Sarah and Marcus had to navigate increasingly personal questions about their relationship. During this dinner, Mr. Yamamoto shared his own philosophy about the importance of family and business success. He explained that he trusted Marcus partly because he seemed to have found a wife who grounded him and brought out his better qualities. Sarah found herself genuinely moved by the elderly businessman's wisdom about love and partnership. His words about the importance of finding someone who made you want to be a better person resonated with her own growing feelings about Marcus. After the dinner, Marcus and Sarah walked through Central Park, discussing the evening and their increasingly complicated situation. For the first time, they acknowledged that their feelings for each other were becoming real, despite the artificial circumstances that had brought them together. Marcus confessed that he had never experienced the kind of partnership that Sarah had shown him, even in their pretend marriage. Sarah admitted that Marcus had shown her a kindness and respect that she had never received from any man, including her ex-husband. Chapter 7. The Sacrifice. The situation became critical when Mr. Yamamoto announced that he wanted to meet Emma and see Marcus and Sarah in their home environment. This request went far beyond what Sarah had originally agreed to, and it meant involving her daughter in the deception. Sarah's protective instincts as a mother conflicted with her growing feelings for Marcus and her understanding of how important this business deal was to him. She spent a sleepless night weighing the risks and benefits of continuing the charade. Marcus, recognizing the impossible position he had put Sarah in, offered to end the arrangement and find another way to handle the business situation. However, Sarah surprised him by agreeing to the home visit, but only if Marcus understood the trust she was placing in him, by involving Emma. To make the home visit believable, Marcus helped Sarah improve her modest apartment, not with expensive renovations, but with thoughtful touches that would suggest a stable, loving home. His attention to details that would matter to Emma showed Sarah how much he had come to care about her daughter's well-being. The evening of Mr. Yamamoto's visit, Sarah's apartment was transformed into a warm, welcoming space that reflected the genuine love between mother and daughter. Marcus fit naturally into this domestic scene, reading to Emma and helping with dinner preparations. Mr. Yamamoto was deeply moved by the obvious affection in the family and the way Marcus interacted with Emma. He saw in their home the values of love, respect, and commitment that he considered essential for successful business partnerships. However, the visit also made Sarah realize how much she was risking by continuing the deception. She was not only lying to a kind man who trusted them, but she was also teaching Emma that dishonesty was acceptable when it served one's interests. Chapter 8. The Truth Emerges. The weight of the deception became unbearable for Sarah when Emma innocently asked why Marcus didn't live with them if he was her stepfather. The child's confusion about their relationship made Sarah realize that the situation had gone too far and was potentially harmful to her daughter. Sarah made the difficult decision to tell Marcus that she could no longer continue the charade. She explained that while she had developed genuine feelings for him, she couldn't build a relationship on a foundation of lies, especially one that involved her daughter. Marcus was devastated by Sarah's decision, not just because it threatened his business deal, but because he realized he had fallen in love with her and couldn't imagine returning to his previous life without her and Emma. In a moment of clarity, Marcus decided that his relationship with Sarah was more important than any business deal. He chose to confess the truth to Mr. Yamamoto, accepting that this decision would likely cost him the partnership he had worked so hard to secure. The confession took place during what was supposed to be the final business dinner. Marcus explained the entire situation to Mr. Yamamoto, taking full responsibility for the deception and acknowledging that Sarah had been an unwilling participant who had tried to help him. Mr. Yamamoto's reaction was not what Marcus expected. The elderly businessman was initially disappointed by the deception, but he was impressed by Marcus's decision to tell the truth and his obvious genuine feelings for Sarah. After a long pause, Mr. Yamamoto revealed that he had suspected something was unusual about their relationship, but had been waiting to see how Marcus would handle the situation. The fact that Marcus chose honesty over profit demonstrated the kind of character that Mr. Yamamoto valued in business partners. Chapter 9. Real Courtship. With the truth revealed and the business deal surprisingly still intact, Marcus was free to pursue a genuine relationship with Sarah. However, he now had to prove that his feelings were real and not just an extension of their business arrangement. Sarah was cautious about Marcus's intentions, unsure whether his interest in her was genuine or simply a continuation of the role-playing that had brought them together. She needed time to understand her own feelings, without the pressure of maintaining a false relationship. Marcus began courting Sarah properly, starting with simple gestures that showed his understanding of her values and priorities. He offered to help with Emma's education, not through expensive private schools, but by volunteering to tutor her in subjects where she needed support. Sarah was touched by Marcus's genuine interest in Emma's well-being and his respect for her role as the child's mother. Unlike her ex-husband, who had seen Emma as a burden, Marcus seemed to understand that loving Sarah meant embracing her daughter as well. The courtship progressed slowly, with Marcus learning to appreciate the simple pleasures that Sarah valued: family dinners, walks in the park, helping Emma with homework, and quiet evenings at home. These experiences were a revelation for a man who had previously measured success only in financial terms. Sarah began to see that Marcus's wealth didn't define him, but rather his character and his capacity for growth and change. She watched him transform from a man focused solely on business success into someone who valued relationships and personal connections. Emma played an important role in bringing them together, as her innocent acceptance of Marcus helped Sarah see him through her daughter's eyes. The child's happiness and security became a priority for both adults, creating a foundation for their growing relationship. Chapter 10. Building Trust. As their relationship deepened, Marcus and Sarah had to navigate the significant differences in their backgrounds and lifestyles. Marcus was learning to find fulfillment in simple pleasures, while Sarah was adjusting to the possibilities that Marcus's resources could provide for Emma's future. Sarah insisted on maintaining her independence and continuing to work, despite Marcus's offers to support her financially. She needed to know that their relationship was based on mutual respect and love, rather than financial dependency. Marcus respected Sarah's desire for independence and found ways to support her goals without undermining her autonomy. He helped her pursue additional education that would advance her career in teaching, showing that he valued her professional aspirations. The couple faced challenges from Marcus's social circle, where some people questioned his relationship with a woman from such a different background. However, Marcus's commitment to Sarah never wavered, and he made it clear that anyone who couldn't accept her wasn't welcome in his life. Sarah also had to overcome her own insecurities about fitting into Marcus's world. She worried that she would never be sophisticated enough for his social and business obligations, but Marcus helped her understand that her authenticity was exactly what he valued most about her. Emma thrived in the stable, loving environment that Marcus and Sarah created together. The child's happiness and security became proof that their relationship was beneficial for all three of them, creating a family unit that none of them had experienced before. The trust between Marcus and Sarah grew stronger as they faced these challenges together, proving that their love could overcome the obstacles created by their different backgrounds and the unusual circumstances of their meeting. Chapter 11. The Proposal. After a year of genuine courtship, Marcus knew that he wanted to spend his life with Sarah and Emma. However, he was determined that his proposal would be meaningful and personal, reflecting the values that Sarah had taught him to appreciate. Instead of an elaborate public gesture, Marcus chose to propose during one of their quiet family evenings at home. He had Emma help him plan the proposal, understanding that the child's blessing was essential for Sarah's happiness. The proposal itself was simple but deeply meaningful. Marcus spoke about how Sarah had changed his understanding of what made life valuable, and how Emma had taught him the joy of being part of a real family. He promised to love and protect them both for the rest of his life. Sarah's acceptance was emotional and heartfelt. She had never expected to find love again after her difficult first marriage, and Marcus had shown her that partnership could be based on mutual respect, shared values, and genuine care for each other's well-being. Emma's excitement about gaining a stepfather who truly loved her mother added to the joy of the moment. The child had never known a stable father figure, and Marcus's consistent presence and care had given her a sense of security she had never experienced. The engagement period allowed them to plan not just a wedding, but a life together that honored both of their backgrounds and values. They decided on a simple ceremony that would focus on their commitment to each other and their family, rather than on displays of wealth. Marcus's business associates and Sarah's friends and family came together for the engagement celebration, creating a community that reflected their shared values rather than their different social backgrounds. Chapter 12. The Wedding and New Beginning. Marcus and Sarah's wedding was a reflection of the values they had discovered together: simple elegance, genuine emotion, and focus on family and friends rather than material display. The ceremony took place in a small church where Sarah had often taken Emma, emphasizing the spiritual foundation of their commitment. Emma served as the flower girl, beaming with happiness as she watched her mother marry the man who had become a true father figure to her. The child's joy was a testament to the genuine family bond that had developed between the three of them. Mr. Yamamoto attended the wedding as an honored guest, having become not just a business partner, but a friend who had witnessed the transformation of their fake marriage into genuine love. His presence symbolized the way their relationship had evolved from deception to truth. The wedding reception was held at Marcus's penthouse, but the atmosphere was warm and intimate rather than ostentatious. Sarah's influence had helped Marcus understand that true celebration came from sharing joy with people you loved, not from impressing others with expensive displays. In his wedding speech, Marcus thanked Sarah for teaching him that the most valuable things in life couldn't be bought or sold. He credited her with showing him the difference between success and fulfillment, between having everything and having what truly mattered. Sarah's response emphasized how Marcus had shown her that love could be both passionate and respectful, that a partner could support her dreams while sharing his own, and that family could be created through choice and commitment as much as through blood. The honeymoon was spent not in an exotic location, but in a simple cabin where they could focus on each other and Emma, beginning their married life with the same values that had brought them together. Chapter 13. Ever. After 5 years after their wedding, Marcus and Sarah had built a life that neither could have imagined when they first met on that park bench. Their marriage had become a true partnership, with both contributing their strengths to create a loving home and successful family. Marcus had restructured his business to allow more time for family, discovering that his improved work-life balance actually made him more effective as a leader. Sarah had completed her master's degree in education and was now a principal at an innovative school that Marcus helped fund. Emma, now 13, was thriving academically and socially, secure in the love of both her parents. Marcus had legally adopted her, and she carried his name with pride, knowing that family was defined by love and commitment, rather than biology. The couple had welcomed 2 more children, twins who brought additional joy to their household. Marcus marveled at how natural parenthood felt when it was grounded in love and partnership, rather than obligation or accident. Their home had become a gathering place for friends from all backgrounds, reflecting their belief that relationships should be based on character rather than social status. Sarah's warmth and Marcus's resources combined to create a welcoming environment for everyone. Marcus often reflected on how a $50 transaction had led to the richest experience of his life. He had learned that true wealth came from relationships, love, and the ability to make a positive difference in the lives of others. Sarah's sacrifice in agreeing to help Marcus had been rewarded beyond anything she could have imagined, but more importantly, it had led to a love that was genuine, respectful, and enduring. Their story had become proof that the most valuable things in life often came from the most unexpected sources. Their love story continued to inspire others, showing that authentic connection could transcend social barriers, and that sometimes the best investments were made not with money, but with trust, kindness, and an open heart. We want to thank all of you who have listened to this story of unexpected love, sacrifice, and the true meaning of worth. We'd love to know where in the world you're listening from and how this story resonates with your own experiences of finding love in unexpected places. Please share in the comments what country or city you're from, and tell us if you've ever had moments where a small act of kindness led to something much bigger than you expected. Your stories inspire us to continue sharing tales that celebrate the power of authentic human connection and the beautiful ways that love can transform our lives when we least expect it.